On how to do hypothesis testing in Minitab. And the first thing we need to do is type in our data, which I've already done. It's from the previous page of the packet. So in my edition of the packet, that is page 164. It might be different if you're using a different edition of the packet. And as you can see, I've called it gain. So now if I want to do a hypothesis test, I go to stat, basic statistics, and then one sample t. Then I type in gain as my variable, and I have to click this box that says perform hypothesis test, and then I need to enter in my hypothesized mean that we're testing for. In this case, it's going to be 54. Now, the default setting is to use a two-tailed test with a confidence level of 95, which is an alpha equals 0.05. If you're doing a one-tailed test or have a different alpha level, you need to click on the options button. Now, since we're using a 2% level of significance, we need to change the confidence level to 98. We have a two-tailed test, so we leave the alternative as not equal. So I'll click on options, and as you can see, I've already changed it to 98, and I have my alternative hypothesis as mean does not equal hypothesized mean. I'll click OK, and then click OK again, and now I have my hypothesis test. Now, in general, you need to compare the p-value to your alpha value to determine if you accept or reject the null hypothesis. As you can see, our p-value is 0.214, which is greater than our alpha value of 0.02, so we do not reject the null hypothesis. If you do a two-tailed test, as we did here, it will give you an upper and lower bound, like a typical confidence interval, as you can see here. If you do a test with less than in the alternative hypothesis, it will give you an upper bound. If you have an upper-tailed hypothesis test, Minitab automatically includes a lower bound for your parameter. If you want to run a z-test, you go to the stat menu, then basic statistics, and then one sample z. Here you would have to enter the value of alpha, which I will show you in a second, and you need to know the standard deviation. If this value is unknown, you should just use a t-test, and that's typically what's going to be the case. So typically when doing hypothesis testing using Minitab, you'll be doing t. But if you knew the standard deviation, you could type in your alpha, and you could type in your standard deviation and do a z-test.